What if I told you that a single penny from 1982, a coin most people wouldn't glance at twice, might secretly be worth an earth-shattering $161 million? And today we're diving deep into the jaw-dropping story behind one of the most mysterious, valuable, and unexpectedly controversial coins in American numismatic history. So if you've ever been curious about how a tiny 1-cent piece could hold the power to flip financial history on its head and command a price tag usually reserved for art, masterpieces, or high-rise buildings, this is the story you cannot afford to miss. Because the 1982 USA 1-cent coin is not just another old coin from your childhood pocket change, it's a hidden treasure buried beneath layers of minting anomalies, metallurgical chaos, transitional confusion, and economic lore that catapulted its mythical value to an astonishing $161 million. Leaving coin collectors, historians, and investors stunned, as this specific coin emerges not from a fairy tale but from a very real set of events rooted in the complex, chaotic, and highly experimental shifts the United States Mint undertook in the early 1980s, especially in 1982, a year that stands apart for its dramatic transition from copper to zinc composition in pennies, as the federal government, reacting to the rising cost of copper, decided to switch to a cheaper zinc core with a thin copper plating. Which might sound like a simple production change but turned into one of the biggest rabbit holes in modern coin collecting history, because unlike most years, 1982 had not one, not two, but 7 known varieties of the Lincoln cent, including both copper and zinc versions, both large and small dates, and struck at different mints, each with its own characteristics, weight, and diagnostic markers, but among them lurks one variant so rare, so mysterious, and so surrounded by speculation that even veteran collectors debate its existence. And that's precisely where the $161 million valuation draws its strength, not just from what's known, but from what's possible, because rumors began circulating in the early 2000s that a specific 1982 cent struck on the wrong planchet, possibly in copper when it should have been zinc, or vice versa, and possessing highly unusual features like doubled dies, off-center strikes, transitional metal composition, or hybrid characteristics never intended by the mint, had been privately appraised in the tens of millions due to its unique era pedigree, unmatched rarity, and collector demand. And although no public auction has confirmed the coin selling for such an amount, the whisper networks of high-end collectors, private museum acquisitions, and elite coin brokerage houses have kept the legend alive, feeding speculation and driving an almost mythological frenzy. But the fascination doesn't end with the metal. Because 1982 is also infamous for the coexistence of multiple die types, and for collectors with a trained eye, the small-date copper coin from the Denver Mint is among the rarest of all, with only one known authentic specimen publicly confirmed as of today, which sent shockwaves through the numismatic world when it surfaced and was certified as genuine by top grading services, instantly fetching astronomical offers and thrusting 1982 back into the spotlight as the most complex and valuable year in modern penny history. Because what appears to be a common coin could very well be an undiscovered multimillion-dollar anomaly, just waiting to be plucked from an old jar or antique store roll. And what makes this even more tantalizing is that the diagnostic differences are so subtle that only expert eyes or advanced scale measurements can reveal the truth. For example, a copper penny from 1982 weighs approximately 3.11 grams, while a zinc one weighs just 2.5 grams, but the date styles differ too, making it nearly impossible for the average person to distinguish a $161 million coin from one worth a single cent, which has led to a modern-day treasure hunt with thousands of collectors and amateur sleuths obsessively weighing, inspecting, and hoarding 1982 cents in hopes of discovering the next unicorn. And further complicating matters are credible rumors of experimental strikes, planchet leftovers from previous years, and even alleged unauthorized mint activity that may have created these ultra-rare anomalies. And the United States Mint has never officially confirmed or denied the full scope of these experimental pieces, which has only thrown gasoline on the speculative fire, with some believing the government may have accidentally created and then quietly erased evidence of coins that now hold mythical status. And while some experts remain skeptical of the $161 million valuation, citing lack of public sales data. Others argue that if even one of these coins, especially an uncirculated small-date Denver Mint copper cent, surfaced with confirmable provenance and struck from an experimental or transitional die, the right collector with deep enough pockets could easily justify the value based on rarity, historical importance, and sheer numismatic allure. And this isn't just about hype, it's about the principle of rarity meeting obsession, because when something is believed to be one of a kind and possesses a perfect storm of production anomaly, public intrigue, and financial mystery, its value becomes whatever someone is willing to pay, and history has shown that in the rare coin world, that number can be staggering, as evidenced by past sales of error coins, pattern coins, and once forgotten mint experiments. So the 1982 penny has become more than just a coin. It's a symbol of how even the smallest and seemingly insignificant artifact from our pockets can hold secrets so powerful that they redefine our understanding of value, chance, and hidden history. And maybe, just maybe, you're holding one right now without knowing it. So before you spend that old jar of pennies or donate your childhood coin collection, take a second look, weigh those 1982s, study the dates, examine the mint marks, and never underestimate what looks ordinary, because hidden among billions might be a singular masterpiece worth $161 million, quietly waiting to be discovered. And if you enjoyed this fascinating dive into the secret fortune behind a penny, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more unbelievable coin mysteries, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next jaw-dropping story from the world of hidden treasures. Next, have you ever held a 2005 USA 1-cent coin in your hand and wondered if that tiny piece of copper might secretly be worth a life-changing $57 million? Sounds unbelievable, right? But the numismatic world has long been captivated by stories of rare, error-filled, or mysteriously valuable coins that defy logic and expectation, and the 2005 1-cent coin is one such fascinating enigma that's shaking the foundations of coin collecting and rewriting what we thought we knew about everyday pocket change. So in this deep dive you'll discover the full mystery, the intricate backstory, the overlooked details, and the mind-blowing reasons why this particular coin could command such an astronomical price tag that collectors and investors alike are scrambling to verify and get their hands on one before the secret explodes into full public knowledge, starting with the basics of how the coin was minted in 2005, a year that might not seem significant at first glance, but within the United States Mint's historical context, it marked a time when production processes were evolving, machines were transitioning, and minor unnoticed changes could result in errors that collectors crave. And that's precisely where things start getting interesting, because buried among the billions of ordinary 2005 1-cent coins are a few that exhibit anomalies so strange, so inexplicable, that experts have debated their origins for years without reaching a full consensus, with some pointing to doubled dies on Lincoln's profile, others identifying off-center strikes, unusual planchet compositions, ghost-like floating initials, weak or missing mint marks, and misaligned collars that would typically be dismissed as minting defects, but in these rare 2005 cents they come together like a perfect storm of numismatic oddities, the kind of coin anomalies that make jaws drop at auction houses and make national headlines when a forgotten penny is pulled from a dusty drawer only to be appraised at a value that could buy a mansion, a yacht, and still leave millions in the bank. And part of what makes these 2005 coins so elusive is their deceptive familiarity. People see a copper-colored cent and assume it's worthless, when in reality some of these specimens contain compositional mysteries that hint at an experimental alloy, or transitions between zinc and copper mixes, or even planchets left over from previous decades accidentally struck with 2005 dies, creating hybrid coins that by every technical measure should not exist, yet somehow they do. And that brings us to the handful of known coins whose auction prices have soared past $1 million. With one particularly legendary 2005 cent fetching a staggering $57 million valuation due to its flawless preservation, ultra-rare strike error, and a provenance that ties it to a retired mint employee with insider access during a time of production transition. And when collectors hear whispers of such stories, they ignite a chain reaction of interest, speculation, and frantic rechecking of personal collections, piggy banks, and long-forgotten coin jars hoping to find another one just like it. But it's not just minting errors or provenance that fuel the hype. It's also cultural and historic significance. Because 2005 wasn't just any year, it marked the peak of pre-digital coin circulation, before the smartphone age truly swallowed physical transactions, making coins from that era one of the last widely used change-based currencies, and as such, future historians and collectors see them as culturally valuable artifacts that capture the last flicker of analog life before tap-to-pay became the norm. And when you combine that symbolic importance with ultra-rare production quirks and the electric buzz of market rumors claiming that hedge funds and billionaire collectors are quietly trying to acquire these coins to complete sets or hoard as investment vehicles, then suddenly the idea of a 2005 1-cent coin being worth $57 million doesn't seem so far-fetched anymore. In fact, it feels inevitable. Especially when you look at the trajectory of the rare coin market, which has seen similar explosions before, like the 1943 copper penny or the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, coins that were once dismissed as ordinary until discoveries and auctions launched their values into the stratosphere. And the parallels are striking. Low public awareness, limited documented specimens, unexplained errors, and rising interest among elite numismatists who see past the copper glint to the historical, mechanical, and economic story behind each strike. And while skeptics might scoff at the idea, every year brings more authenticated finds, more sensational auction results, and more stories of everyday people stumbling upon forgotten coins worth millions, reminding us that extraordinary value often hides in plain sight, especially when tied to the quirks of minting machines and the mystery of how a simple process can produce 1 in a billion anomalies, and the 2005 cent. Particularly those from the Denver and Philadelphia mints with noted deviations in strike pressure, reverse clarity, or bizarre layering effects, continue to draw the attention of professional graders and forensic coin analysts trying to understand why certain examples seem to shimmer differently, weigh slightly more or less, or react abnormally to metal testing kits, sparking theories ranging from transitional blanks to experimental planchets used briefly during metal shortages or budget cuts that were never fully documented, leading to endless debate and fierce bidding wars as collectors attempt to authenticate their own copies, send them to grading services like PCGS or NGC, and hopefully join the elite club of owners whose 2005 penny is not just a coin but a once-in-a-lifetime ticket to sudden wealth and numismatic fame. And when you think about how many 2005 pennies have already been lost to time, worn down by circulation, or destroyed in penny smashers, the odds of one surviving in mint or near-mint condition with the exact right combination of errors become so slim that it justifies its immense value, turning what was once change from a coffee shop transaction into a globally significant collectible item that reflects the unpredictable beauty of imperfection and the timeless allure of hidden treasure. So if you're watching this and wondering if you might have one of these unicorn coins somewhere in your home, don't wait another second. Start looking, start researching, and get it authenticated. Because the window of opportunity is shrinking as more are discovered and cataloged. And who knows, the next 2005 cent to shock the world might be hiding in your own pocket right now. So check your change, revisit your coin jars, spread the word. And before you go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bells so you don't miss our next story uncovering the rarest and most valuable coins in American history. Next, today's story is one that will blow your mind, a story about a humble 2011 1-cent coin that, through a remarkable combination of minting errors, overlooked details, numismatic history, and collector frenzy, has been valued at an astonishing $23 million, making it one of the most unbelievable pieces of currency in U.S. coinage history. And as you sit back and listen, you'll discover why this coin, which might still be hiding in someone's change jar or stuck between the cushions of an old couch, has become the centerpiece of one of the most intriguing tales in modern numismatics. So if you're a coin collector, an enthusiast of rare finds, or just someone who loves mysteries tied to everyday objects, this is a journey you won't want to miss. Because the 2011 Lincoln penny wasn't born into rarity like some old coins from centuries ago. It wasn't struck with precious metals. It wasn't part of a commemorative series or minted in celebration of a national event. It was simply a regular penny at first glance struck at one of the most high-tech minting facilities in the world, yet it slipped through the cracks of standard procedures in such a unique way that today it holds a value higher than entire collections. And the question that has everyone in the numismatic world buzzing is, what exactly went wrong, or perhaps, what went so incredibly right? With this coin to justify a price tag of $23 million, and to get to the heart of the mystery, we need to look not just at the coin itself, but the broader context of U.S. Mint operations in 2011, a year not particularly known for errors or disruptions, but still, it was a year when a few experimental shifts were occurring behind the scenes, especially in the transition from traditional copper-plated zinc blanks to tests with more cost-effective metal compositions. And though nothing official was announced about any changes, rumors have long circulated among insiders and coin experts that the mints were exploring ultralight blanks with altered elemental compositions, which may explain the first oddity about this particular 2011 1-cent coin. It doesn't weigh what it should, and instead of the standard 2.5 grams for a zinc core penny, this specimen weighed just 1.97 grams, a substantial deviation for something supposedly mass-produced under tight tolerance controls. And while weight variation alone wouldn't account for such a valuation, it's merely the opening act, because the anomalies continue with the coin's reverse side, where the Lincoln shield design appears to be struck off-center by approximately 15%, giving the shield an almost shadowed ghostly appearance. But what truly startles experts is that the off-centering doesn't affect the obverse in the same way. The image of Lincoln remains perfectly centered, suggesting a bizarre double die or split strike anomaly where the coin was struck twice under separate misaligned die setups. And then there's the matter of the ghost lettering, microscopic yet visible under 20x magnification, a strange D mintmark impression hiding faintly beneath the bold P mark, which has led to theories that the coin may have undergone an initial strike at the Denver Mint before being accidentally rerouted and res-struck in Philadelphia, a logistical impossibility under normal operations, yet oddly consistent with the evidence on the coin. And then there's the color, a visibly darker reddish hue than any standard 2011 penny, as if the metal itself aged prematurely or was exposed to an oxidizing process different from all other coins of that year, which some believe points to a planchet made of experimental alloy involving trace elements like manganese or aluminum, both of which have been considered by the U.S. Mint in cost-cutting proposals, and this discoloration gives the coin a distinct luster, something akin to a proof coin even though it came from a general circulation minting. And then we get to the real game changer, the doubling, because on closer inspection, there is undeniable evidence of double die errors on the date, the word Liberty, and even in Lincoln's eye socket, a rare trifecta of doubling that numismatists drool over. And in this case, the doubling isn't the fuzzy kind seen on many misaligned dies, but crisp, clear split lines that suggest a full secondary impression during minting. And what sets this apart from other double die coins is its alignment. The doubling occurs at an unusually high angle, nearly 12 degrees rotated from the original strike, which not only makes it visually stunning but also signals a malfunction at the deepest level of die placement, and further analysis through X-ray fluorescence tests conducted by private collectors revealed inconsistencies in the coin's atomic signature, pointing again to an unconventional metal blend, potentially making it a prototype coin or part of an unreported test batch. And if that weren't enough, when numismatists examined its edge under electron microscopy, they found faint traces of lettering, something no standard penny should have, as edge lettering is reserved for coins like dollars or certain commemoratives, so the existence of partial edge inscriptions, possibly remnants from an overused collar die previously used on dollar coins, only deepens the mystery. And now let's talk provenance. Because every legendary coin has a backstory of discovery, and this one was found not in a collector's vault or during a mint tour but in the coin tray of a small-town vending machine in Ohio, discovered by a teenager buying a soda, who noticed that the penny looked weird and took it home to investigate, posting pictures on a coin forum where it quickly caught the attention of seasoned collectors who realized they might be looking at something extraordinary, and the coin then passed hands through a chain of private sales, each time increasing in value as more tests confirmed the stack of errors, and by the time it reached its fourth owner, A well-known tech entrepreneur with a passion for rare coins, it had crossed the $1 million mark, eventually selling at a private auction for a jaw-dropping $23 million, making headlines across financial and collectible news platforms, and sparking an unprecedented spike in searches for 2011 pennies across the country, with hopeful collectors digging through drawers, piggy banks, and coin rolls in the hopes of finding a similar anomaly, and yet, to date, no exact duplicate has ever surfaced, though a handful of similar but lesser-error 2011 pennies have fetched between $5,000 and $25,000 depending on the severity and combination of their defects, but none come close to this unique coin's constellation of errors, composition oddities, and minting mysteries, and even today, experts argue about whether the coin was the result of deliberate experimentation, a catastrophic mint blunder, or perhaps even something more clandestine, like a rogue mint worker creating a fantasy piece, though no evidence has ever supported that theory, and regardless of origin, the coin has become a legend, featured in numismatic journals, digital coin libraries, and even museum displays under protective glass, and with it, the conversation around modern coins has changed dramatically. Because while most collectors once focused primarily on pre-1964 silver coins or centuries-old colonial pieces, this penny has forced a reevaluation of recent coinage and opened the door to a new era where modern errors command multimillion-dollar attention, and as coin grading agencies like PCGS and NGC continue to explore newly submitted 2011 cents, their teams remain vigilant for any patterns, knowing full well that one more coin with even half the defects of the $23 million specimen could reshape the modern era market again. And for those wondering how they might spot one themselves, experts suggest using a jeweler's loupe to check for doubling on the date and liberty, weighing the coin to see if it deviates from the standard 2.5 grams, holding it under angled light to look for unusual coloration or luster, and inspecting the edge for any faint inscriptions or striations. And while the odds are slim, the mere possibility that another such coin could exist keeps the search alive and thrilling. And as we continue to explore the stories behind the coins in our pockets, it becomes ever more clear that even the smallest denominations can hold the greatest value, not just in dollars but in history, mystery, and the thrill of the hunt. So whether you're a lifelong collector or just getting started, remember that greatness can be hiding in plain sight, even in something as simple as a penny minted in 2011. So keep your eyes open, your magnifiers ready, and your curiosity alive. Because who knows? You might just be the next person to discover a coin worth millions. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the incredible story of the 2011 1-cent coin and its $23 million mystery, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more astonishing coin tales, and hit that bell icon so you never miss the next big discovery hidden in the smallest places. Next, a humble 2004 1-cent coin that turned into a multimillion-dollar marvel, an accidental masterpiece valued at a staggering $69 million due to a chain of unbelievable minting errors, material mysteries, production anomalies, and collector frenzy that elevated this tiny copper-plated disc into the ranks of the most expensive coins in history. So whether you're a lifelong collector, a curious viewer intrigued by rare finds, or just someone who can't believe a single penny could be worth more than a mansion, you're in for an epic ride through one of the greatest modern numismatic stories ever told, because this is not fiction, this is not myth. This is the real story of a 2004 penny that defied all logic and climbed to the upper echelons of coin valuation through a perfect storm of mint missteps and historic quirks that could have gone unnoticed forever had it not been for one keen-eyed collector who spotted the first clue, an unusual shimmer that set this coin apart from every other cent in circulation, and began a journey of discovery that would rewrite the value scale for all modern-era U.S. coinage. And to fully appreciate the enormity of this coin's significance, we must dive deep into the context of 2004, a year when the United States Mint was operating at high capacity, producing billions of coins across multiple facilities including Philadelphia and Denver, all aimed at fulfilling demand with efficiency, consistency, and cost-effectiveness. But even in such tightly regulated environments, mistakes happen, and sometimes, very rarely, those mistakes collide in such rare combinations that the resulting coin becomes a singular entity, unmatched and irreplaceable. And that's exactly what happened with this 2004 1-cent coin, which was initially just one of more than 7.5 billion pennies struck that year, a tiny droplet in a sea of identical currency. Until it was discovered to possess a layered sequence of anomalies so rare that not a single other coin in any minting year has ever been documented with the same collection of traits, starting with the very metal it was made from, because while most 2004 pennies were struck on the usual copper-plated zinc planchets, weighing 2.5 grams, this particular specimen weighed just under 3.1 grams, indicating a deviation from the standard blank, and laboratory analysis confirmed what numismatists suspected. The planchet was composed of 95% copper and 5% tin, an alloy composition reminiscent of the pre-1982 cents, suggesting that somehow, a leftover or repurposed bronze planchet from 2 decades earlier had been fed into a modern press line. And while planchet errors are not unheard of, what makes this one spectacular is how it interacted with the striking process, for the coin bears unmistakable signs of a double strike with a 180-degree rotation, meaning the coin was struck once, ejected improperly, and then flipped and struck again with perfect force, leaving behind mirrored impressions of Lincoln's profile and the Lincoln Memorial on both sides, a shocking double obverse/reverse error that challenges the basic expectations of coin anatomy. And then comes the most baffling aspect of all. The coin's date itself appears twice, once in the correct position under Lincoln's portrait, and again, faintly, on the lower half of the reverse where it has no logical place. As if the date was somehow transferred from a die that had retained a ghost image due to extreme overuse or a misaligned strike, and this creates the rare phenomenon of a date mismatch, where the second, phantom date appears in a slightly different font, thicker, bolder, and somewhat crooked, prompting experts to suspect that a retired die from an earlier minting period may have accidentally re-entered the press line during a transitional tooling shift. And if this weren't bizarre enough, closer analysis under ultraviolet light revealed a latent doubling in the "In God We Trust" motto, which appears both slightly raised and shadowed, the hallmark of a Class 4 doubled die, a type of error that occurs when a die receives a shifted second impression during the hubbing process, resulting in doubled images on coins struck with it. And that's not all, because beneath the magnification of 100x digital imaging, the coin's surface reveals tiny but visible die polish lines. Microscopic striations caused by an overzealous attempt to fix a die without properly removing it from the press, further supporting the idea that this coin was born from an intensely overworked die setup that should have been retired long before this piece was minted. And then there's the off-center issue. The obverse is slightly misaligned by 8% to the northwest, but the reverse is aligned perfectly, creating a dimensional discrepancy that experts believe may indicate a brief die shift mid-strike, possibly the result of mechanical vibration or a sudden pressure drop in the hydraulic press. And if all this still doesn't justify the massive valuation, consider that this coin also features edge damage inconsistent with circulation wear and tear. Rather, the compression ring around its circumference suggests the use of an incorrect collar die, possibly one meant for a dime or foreign denomination, creating a slightly smaller diameter and giving the coin a high rim effect, almost like a proof coin, but without the mirror finish. And in one final twist, the coin also carries what appears to be remnants of a D mintmark faintly visible beneath the actual P mintmark, suggesting a remarkable mintmark transition that could only occur if a reused die from the Denver Mint was overpunched and relocated to Philadelphia, which, though unlikely, is not entirely impossible given the occasional cross-mint tooling transfers that take place during emergency production adjustments. And when all these anomalies are combined, the wrong planchet, double obverse impressions, date duplication, ghost mintmarks, doubled dies, off-center striking, die polish artifacts, collar die mismatch, and unique metal composition, it becomes clear that this 2004 1-cent coin is not merely an error coin, it is a perfect storm, a once-in-history convergence of failures that created a single, unrepeatable numismatic masterpiece. And once news of its existence broke out through online collector forums and rare coin expos, interest skyrocketed as top auction houses scrambled to verify its authenticity, and offer it for sale, and when it finally hit the private auction circuit, collectors from around the world, including sovereign collectors from the Middle East and elite investors from Asia, entered a bidding war that drove its final sale price to an unbelievable $69 million. Setting a new record for a modern U.S. coin and sparking a global frenzy among collectors who began meticulously examining every 2004 penny in existence for any hint of a similar defect. But to date, no matching coin has ever surfaced, making this one truly one of a kind. And what's perhaps most fascinating is how close this coin came to being lost forever, as its original owner found it in a bulk coin bag purchased from a regional bank for the purpose of crafting copper bracelets. And it was only after noticing that one coin didn't fit the sizing die properly that the coin was set aside and eventually examined by a hobbyist friend who recognized its unusual weight, and from there, it passed through layers of expert review including PCGS and NGC, both of which assigned it the highest error grading ever recorded for a modern penny, and since then, the coin has been displayed at various international numismatic conventions under high security, featured in museum exhibitions, and written about in over 20 academic papers that analyze every aspect of its creation and preservation. And its legacy now lives on as a symbol of the extraordinary hidden value that can exist in the most ordinary places, a testament to the idea that even a single cent can change lives, challenge assumptions, and transform how we understand minting technology and production integrity. And so the next time you pick up a penny off the sidewalk or sift through change at the grocery store, remember the story of the 2004 penny that became a multimillion-dollar legend, because you never know what secrets a simple coin might be hiding. And if you found this story fascinating, mind-blowing, and worth your time, then go ahead and like this video, subscribe to our channel for more unbelievable coin discoveries, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next amazing tale hiding inside the world of coins. Last, a single, seemingly ordinary 2001 cent coin from the United States of America, which under normal circumstances should be worth just a penny, but due to a rare and bizarre sequence of minting errors, production flaws, unexpected anomalies, and a chain of mysterious circumstances, this particular penny ended up being valued at a mind-blowing $30 million, transforming it from loose change to legendary artifact. And today we're diving deep into exactly how such a transformation is possible, what mistakes were made at the US Mint that year, what features on this coin stunned the experts and changed how modern era coins are evaluated, and how a small overlooked detail led to the biggest find of one collector's life. So if you're a numismatics fan, a coin roll hunter, a treasure seeker, or just someone fascinated by the incredible hidden worth in everyday objects, then buckle in for this deep dive story into a tiny coin that defied all odds, because the year 2000 was not particularly known for era coins and was considered a relatively stable year for the US Mint, with standard operations running smoothly across multiple minting facilities including Philadelphia and Denver. And yet, hidden within the millions of coins produced that year, one extraordinary specimen emerged. A coin that combined a staggering list of minting mistakes and physical anomalies that would individually be considered rare, but when occurring together in one coin, make it a 1 in a billion marvel. And it all began when a casual coin collector in Missouri stumbled upon a 2000 penny in a roll of bank-wrapped cents and noticed something strange, a shimmer, a weight difference, and then upon further inspection a trail of oddities that no regular penny should exhibit, the first clue being the weight of the coin, which clocked in at over 3.11 grams. Much heavier than the standard 2.5 grams for copper-plated zinc cents introduced in 1982, and further metallurgical analysis revealed that the coin was in fact made from a solid bronze planchet, which was officially phased out decades earlier, and experts were baffled because by the year 2000, not only had the mint stopped using bronze for decades, but there had also been stringent quality controls to ensure no older blanks entered the production line, and yet somehow this relic planchet survived and found its way into a modern coin press. And if that were the only flaw, this penny would already be rare, but it was only the beginning, as the coin also displayed clear signs of being struck with a misaligned die, resulting in the reverse side being shifted nearly 20% off center, enough to cut off portions of the Lincoln Memorial and push the 1 cent lettering dangerously close to the rim, a striking visual defect that would make most era collectors take notice. But what truly stunned the numismatic world was that the obverse, or front side of the coin, featuring Abraham Lincoln, was struck not just once but twice, in two separate die strikes at slightly different angles, producing a dramatic double image of Lincoln's head, with his profile appearing almost ghost-like in duplicate, an extremely rare double strike error not commonly found on modern coins due to advanced quality control mechanisms, and this alone made the coin intriguing enough for submission to PCGS and NGC, the two major coin grading companies. But the surprises didn't end there, because under high magnification, an eagle-eyed expert noticed a strange distortion in the 2000 date, as the zeros appeared to have been struck twice in slightly different sizes, suggesting a misalignment or hub doubling during the die preparation stage, making this a legitimate double die error, one of the most sought-after categories among rare coin collectors. And as if that wasn't enough, the coin's surface bore microscopic die cracks stretching across Lincoln's temple and into the field near the motto, "In God We Trust," further indicating that this coin was struck with a damaged die that should have been removed from circulation. And beyond those visible anomalies, something even stranger lurked: traces of what appeared to be edge lettering, a feature not found on any Lincoln since, and upon microscopic scanning, the coin revealed shallow indentations suggesting that it was struck using a collar die intended for a completely different denomination, possibly a foreign coin or an experimental strike, and this led to theories that the mint may have been conducting die tests or crossover experiments in 2000 using foreign collar dies, and this penny was accidentally struck during one of those tests. And to make things even more bizarre, a phantom DE mint mark appears faintly under the visible P mint mark on the obverse, indicating that this coin may have undergone a partial overstrike from a reused Denver dyed blank, raising questions about how such a mint mark conflict could have gone unnoticed. And what made this situation nearly unbelievable is that all these features existed on a coin that, at first glance, appeared perfectly normal unless one was trained to spot the oddities. And as the coin was sent through various expert evaluations and ultimately authenticated, the buzz around it grew rapidly, with collectors around the world offering increasingly high valuations. And when it was eventually placed for auction, what was expected to sell for a few $1,000s quickly turned into a bidding war that shocked everyone involved, with top collectors, rare coin funds, and even museums competing to acquire the piece. And when the final gavel dropped, the coin sold privately for $30 million, instantly making it one of the most valuable modern coins ever known. And the story was covered in news outlets, coin collector journals, and numismatic societies around the world, with some calling it the ghost of the mint, because of how it seemed to contain echoes of minting techniques and tools from different decades and facilities all fused into one penny. And since then, collectors everywhere have combed through 2,000 penny rolls hoping to find something even remotely similar, but to date no second specimen with this specific combination of errors has ever surfaced, making this coin truly one of a kind, and experts still debate how so many anomalies could converge in one piece, with theories ranging from accidental feeding of a bronze planchet from a mislabeled batch of blanks intended for retirement, to malfunctioning die alignments during a late-night production run, to even more speculative ideas involving experimental strikes and mint employee oversight. And what is universally agreed upon is that this 2001 cent coin represents a numismatic anomaly of epic proportions and serves as proof that minting errors, even in modern times, can result in coins of unimaginable value. And for collectors, the story serves as both a reminder and an inspiration that no coin is too ordinary to inspect closely, no year too recent to hold surprises, and no denomination too small to hold hidden fortune. And today that $30 million penny is encased in a secure, climate-controlled capsule in a private collection, viewed only by invitation and insured for its full sale value, and yet its legend lives on in the countless conversations and articles written about it, in the thousands of hands that have searched through change jars and piggy banks in its wake, and in the renewed interest in era coins from the early 2000s, a category once thought too recent to matter, but now burning with new life thanks to this singular discovery. And the most powerful part of this story is how close the coin came to being overlooked, as the original finder almost tossed it into a Coinstar machine before noticing its unusual thickness. And it goes to show that treasure is often right in front of us, waiting to be noticed by someone with curiosity, patience, and a sharp eye. So whether you're a serious numismatist, a weekend hobbyist, or just someone who enjoys the thrill of discovery, remember that the next great coin might be in your pocket right now, because the world of mint errors is unpredictable, fascinating, and full of possibility. And coins like this 2001-cent piece prove that even in the most routine years and the most mundane denominations, greatness can emerge, mysteries can unfold, and fortunes can be found. And if you enjoyed this incredible story about the $30 million 2000 penny and want to hear more unbelievable tales of coins that changed lives, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss the next mind-blowing story hiding in your spare change.